I might be a little bit rusty because it's been a hot ass minute since we've done a podcast. I know the last one we did, we fucking swore we're going to be doing this weekly. But, life happens, ladies and gentlemen. Things happen in the world. We've been busy, though. Don't get it twisted. We have been honestly busy working on other projects.
That thing on your shoulder, that thing right there. Yeah, that's cool.
This little guy right here.
Yeah, that guy.
I've introduced you two together. You introduced me to him. That's
good. No, he's a good pal of both of ours.
Right? Yeah, guy. Man. I'll let you introduce him. You're the one that brought him into my life. Now he's my good old buddy.
Well, yeah, definitely. We've talked about, and there's if the eagle eye watchers, not just the listeners, in the background of mine, you can kind of catch a guy back there too.
Yeah.
That's Rocky. Full name Rocky Wood, and we're gonna have too much information coming out soon. Too much that you're gonna be like, stop. But
a
lot of fun stuff. The host with the most always does say, we've been busy.
Yes.
In the simplest form, we've been busy, but more importantly, busy. We're having fun.
Yeah.
Remember what it felt like to have fun?
It was a hot ass minute before then.
Yeah.
But yeah, back on that grind of just enjoying what life kind of gives you, but making the best of it. And I think we've done that in the last few months. But like you said, obviously the podcast kind of put in the back burner. Not to be disrespectful, I know you guys have been asking me when we were going to drop some new content on YouTube, especially. But again, just working on other things. I've been busy with also clickbaitmedia.com. If you haven't gone check that out, go check that out. As for this, though, this has been pretty much me and yours, kind of like a dream coming true as we slowly get closer to eventually a launch of what this will be. And you guys will get all the information. You guys will be the first to hear about it. As for now, though, I could tell you, if you want more info, if you want to be up to date when we're going to get more info on this, Rocky Wood Co. on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go check it out. Go follow it. Rocky Wood Co. Instagram. We're killing it, bro. I think you have taken the proper steps, which is funny because I've never really started a business like this before.
Not me neither.
So it's very interesting to see the not the highs or lows, but the loopholes you kind of have to go through to get something like this rolling. Has really opened my eyes to what it takes, because I've seen so many variations of businesses starting on social media. And I've always kind of been not envious, but almost admired how people have been able to use some of their artwork to make awesome stuff. And now that we're in that game, I'm all in. I'm ready to do this shit, dude. We have done so many cool things in the last few months, and I'm excited for it. Once again, you guys will get more information very, very soon. Rocky Wood Co. on Instagram. Go check it out. More information coming your way. But yeah, man, how have you been? How has life been treating you?
Oh, man. Pretty good. Chilling, killing, just living. A lot of movies and stuff have come out since our last,
some
videos,
well received, some unfortunately received.
Yeah, some really good ones, some really not good ones, and then some good ones to look forward to in the coming, months and years. Some not good, some you're not looking forward to.
No,
Munsters.
absolutely not.
But other than that, holy shit, yeah, that's wow.
I wrote that down before we started recording, but then I forgot about it until you brought it back. But yeah, we'll get into that. That'll be a nice transition when we talk about what we're gonna talk about. But like you said, the last movie we and you reviewed was The Batman, and since then there's been some films that have dropped. Me and you went to go watch Doctor Strange, directed by our good brother Sam Raimi. Very quickly, just a quick review since it's been out for months now. What did you think of it?
I loved it. I thought it was really, and we'll even talk about, some of the negative reviews and stuff. I thought it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I remember multiple scenes turning to you immediately and being like, that's some Evil Dead shit. That's Army of Darkness. There's so many moments where it was cool for you and I as fans of, Marvel and everything, but fans of Raimi, like you said, to then be able to fall backs, because that's not an everyday thing, especially in the last 10 years of Marvel films. Not too many people are gonna put the two together anymore, because most people don't put the two together.
No.
So it was really cool to see how they did certain things. I thought everybody was done, well too. A lot of people still have their problems with the Illuminati. I don't know what you thought was going to happen, but
Yeah, I mean, they should have known there were going to be Suicide Squad. I mean, I never sat there and was like, these guys are here to stay. It's like, no, they're here for cameos. And like you said, obviously me and you both love the Evil Dead franchise. Sam Raimi, for him to be included in this, to direct this, obviously he wasn't the first original director for this. The guy who made the Sinister movies, who directed the first Doctor Strange, stepped off for creative differences, and I understand that he wanted to make it more of a horror movie. Marvel being Marvel didn't want to go that route. He steps down. They bring in Sam Raimi, which is the perfect replacement to film this film. Obviously, he's had his hand in Marvel since the first Spider-Man movie. So for him to be able to direct this movie and also add things that are very Sam Raimi, I'd like that, because that was my biggest fear going into that film, was like, are they going to let Raimi direct like Raimi, or they're just going to let him just do the generic stuff they usually do? And for him to add those stuff like the Evil Dead homages, Bruce Campbell being in it, even though it was a shtick, but it was still one of my favorite moments in the entire film. I enjoyed it, man. It was a fun movie. It had its horror elements that worked for me. I thought it had nice action scenes that worked well. I understand the Illuminati complaint, because I guess people felt that it wasn't necessary. But at the end of the day, I'm like, none of these movies are necessary. Just enjoy the ride, man. Like, all the years of you guys wanting Jim Halpert as Mr. Fantastic, you got it.
They got him.
Yeah,
you got like probably one of the biggest fan casts of like the last, decade, maybe more. Yeah, and hey, we got to actually see Black Bolt, so that was kind of cool.
It was the last little shout out for Inhumans. It's like, we fucked this up so badly, but here's just one last. We'll give him his actual fucking suit and let him do what he actually needs to do.
CGI'd though.
Yeah, well,
and then unfortunate, more news, guys. I think they just said it today or yesterday. Fucking Mr. Fantastic suit also CGI.
Was the Xavier fucking wheelchair CGI too?
He wasn't even really there. It was just a hologram.
It was just a PS5 graphic that just threw in there.
No, but yeah, so it's like, and I think I'd heard that the whole thing with that, the whole scene alone was very rushed and put together. Makes sense. That was why they couldn't do certain stuff. And I mean, that hearing that and seeing the movie, that it doesn't take away. It's not like you could sit there and be like, man, his suit looks fake. Like, I don't think, you know what I mean? Like,
I never, even when he came out on screen, I was not like, oh, that suit doesn't look exactly right fitted on him. It was like, it is what it is, right? Man. Like, it happened.
So many people hated on the Fantastic suit.
I liked it, man. I
don't get it.
What else would you want from a Fantastic Four suit? And also, people need to remember that's not from the MCU universe. It's a variant. No. It's from a different timeline. It's like, if they're gonna do timeline jumping, which they did, you got to accept that there's other universes that have other characters, and I think they did it the right way. And talking about that, like, the best part for me, at least, the moment that I marked out, me and you both marked out, that X-Men animated theme, man, that they played with Xavier. Oh my God, dude. That just felt like one of the best moments for me ever for a comic book movie. I'm not even reaching. Like, it sounded well. I never thought I would hear that song in a live action film. You know what I mean? That's just insane to me to hear it.
And rumor is that they do want that to be like their official theme when like the X-Men and stuff like that do show up in the MCU. And I'm like, I mean, I'm with it.
Do you think they'll call them the X-Men?
I don't know. Eventually, I heard that the movie's still working title is just The Mutants. And I'm like,
yeah.
My problem with that is it's too like wide. So if the movie is going to revolve around the X-Men, whether they're starting out or not, just call it the fucking X-Men. I don't think a movie, if the whole movie is about tons of different mutants, then sure, that is about every and all mutants.
Yeah.
But if it is a film about X-Men and they're just trying to still like, I hope that's the working title until the movie comes out.
Well, yeah, because like,
and then they're just like, just kidding. You know what I
you
mean?
have Magneto and his squad versus Xavier and his school, and you're just calling it the mutants. It's like, well, it's not really the mutants. I mean, that's very specific for every mutant, you know? It's like at that point, now you're being leaving that door really open. And if you're going to be using that theme, which now I'm going to cut to Miss Marvel, which I'm like, I'm fine with them using that theme. That's cool, but you can't use it for everybody.
No, exactly.
Like that. It feels like now when they did it for Miss Marvel, spoilers if you haven't seen that show. If you haven't, don't blame you. You find out that she's a mutant, and when they're telling her this, you hear the X-Men theme once again. And for me, that felt like almost a cheap pop trick to be like, aha, here's the X-Men theme, just so you guys can get aboard.
It definitely wasn't the same feel. With Xavier and with the movie and with the moment. No. I agree. It was their way of being like, hey, you guys like that one, you'll love this. And
let's try this again. It's like Xavier's Xavier, man, and I grew up with him being the live action Xavier for the longest time.
Yeah.
So it's like that worked, and then you have him in the yellow wheelchair, so that makes sense to the show. What connection does Miss Marvel have, not just to X-Men or mutants, but to the show itself? Like that, there's no correlation there. So that didn't piss me off, but it was one of those ways of me being like, oh, that's your saving grace for the entire series. Like if you make it this far, you get the song. And it's like, I mean, I could have done without it. You could have told her she's a mutant. That's fine. Explain it later on. Just don't use that theme for that. It doesn't have to be that specific for every single mutant. I don't want to see Sabretooth down the line and then play the fucking song just to be like, aha. Like, I know it's Sabretooth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need it that much. So I really do hope they don't overuse it, because that was my first concern watching Doctor Strange. Now with Miss Marvel, I'm a little concerned. We'll see what happens. Apparently, The Marvels is going to be a goddamn musical. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of feel like, do you think that's in a response because of Joker 2, or do you think that was always the plan?
I don't know, because I thought the same thing. I did think the same thing at first, because I'm just like, but in my opinion, it's solely an opinion, guys. But if they're doing it as a joke, or they're doing it in like a shot against Joker, I'm still like, well, then them to do it as like a joke is literally them saying like, yeah, these characters don't mean shit. And I'm okay with that, because I don't think Captain Marvel means shit. But the rest of the world loves to think she's good, but no.
Which one are you talking about?
So
both
I don't
versions,
know.
or just the MCU version?
I'm talking about all of them. Yeah, I'm just talking about unless it's fucking Marvel. No, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like, I think it still like makes the characters then look bad, whether I thought they were or not. Because you have her in her own movie, then you have her show up in multiple different ones after, and then now you're giving her a fucking.
She's always busy.
Yeah, and now you're giving her a fucking musical. Like, how am I, someone who's not a fan of the character, supposed to become a fan when you're doing that shit? And again, I'm only speaking on my behalf, but that's not the way to turn someone onto this movie or the characters, in my opinion. I'm like, all right, I guess I won't watch it.
Yeah, because like, unless it goes out the way that Guardians did, where Guardians used music to play kind of as background noise for the film itself, and we had funny scenes like that, that's fine. A musical is like La La Land. Like, you know, exactly. That's what when I hear that, that's what I expect. That's where my head went to when they announced Joker 2, which we'll get into right now, is that like, oh, they're going to be singing and dancing. Like, if you want to add music, that's fine. Like, if anybody needed to go the Guardians route, it's probably Captain Marvel, to add some sort of like excitement to kind of cloud the boringness of the character. Because sorry, that's what it is. It's just pretty fucking boring, you know. And then I'm not trying to like diss the actress, but the character itself just doesn't really add anything to any movie. You know, she is what she is. She's OP as fuck. Her sense of humor and her just dialogue is always seems just bad. So like going the route of the musical, I'm like, that's a choice. It does feel like you guys are trying to try something new, which I'll give Marvel credit for that, for attempting something for once. And I don't know if it'll work. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. It does definitely sound like a swing that could potentially be a huge fucking miss.
Before we go into Joker, I just have a question now. I'm like, you always hear people complain about Superman being like too powerful, too this, too that. Why aren't people saying the same for Captain Marvel?
I think some people do. I see the thing with Superman though is that at least with Supes, and I'm defending him here, is that he'll play Clark Kent during the day. You know what I mean? Like Clark is humanized to the point where you can get behind him being the underdog. Because he has to hide his powers. He has to like keep that shit inside when he knows he can fuck anybody up when he wants to. Like one of the best scenes was Superman 2 when he goes to the bar and gets his ass kicked because his powers are gone. Yeah, you know what I mean? With Captain Marvel, she's just OP 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's like, oh, well, that's how she's supposed to be. But like that's the problem with the character. Like, how is that interesting for a movie when you know that who she is and what she does? What can she possibly add for like an actual story? Like if you're going to go the Guardians route, that works. What they did with Thor, maybe not this last one because they kind of doubled down way too hard with the comedy, but like what they did with Ragnarok, where they did add an element of like, yeah, he is the god, but he also has to deal with the death of pretty much his entire family and having to face his sister and blah 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 blah. Captain Marvel, what does she really have? You know, outside of just being this OP fucking hero. There's no like
I couldn't tell you what she has. I never watched the movie, but I hear it's really good. And
best part of that movie, the Mallrats scene with Stan Lee. That's it. That is the highlight of that Captain Marvel film.
Yeah, I saw that scene. That's it. So I was like, well, I have to see this, guys.
Well, you couldn't miss it because Kevin was sharing it everywhere. So
yeah, exactly.
That dude was like, you're not gonna miss my fucking inclusion in this shit. I don't blame him, but I guess that makes us jump because we haven't talked about this because this happened while me and you were busy. Joker 2, which, I mean, I don't know. You want to start it off? I mean,
I'll ask right now, not even just opinion. If they actually are pulling it off and saying that it's a musical and say they actually do it, I think that just seals the deal that the entire film and the first one is all bullshit and the movie's going to end. The movie's going to end with him dancing by himself in the asylum. So then I'm still like, maybe it's something did happen to get him in the asylum, but I'm like, all of this is going to be a fucking fever dream.
Would you be okay with that, or would you like?
No, I would be like, that's a fucking waste of the. Because like I've said, the first Joker movie was its own standalone. It had nothing to do with characters or Batman, and even in that world. Yes, you showed Bruce Wayne and all that, but it had nothing to do with those.
Yeah.
So I think if they were going to make a sequel, their best bet was still to accept the fact that they're probably never going to include this character in anything else.
Yeah.
So just do your own thing. And maybe still wishful thinking is that it would end with the real Joker showing up, and then that one can go hop into the fucking world. But we're still working with so many different years and timelines to where I'm like, no matter what they do to try to include this Joker in it, to me isn't going to make much sense.
Yeah, this Joker, I don't know if it would work with any of the actual Batmans that are around right now. You know, I mean, I would love for Jared Leto to be completely erased from the history of any movie ever. But like, he wouldn't really work with Affleck either. He wouldn't work with Pants, and he wouldn't work even when they bring back Keaton, if they do. Knock on wood. But
I know.
That being said, I did like the fact I never needed a sequel. You know how much I love that movie to this day. That movie is one of my all-time favorites. But what I loved most about it is that like I could walk away from that being like, I don't need to start thinking of sequels or what's next or where are they going to go with this film. Like, it's standalone. That's fine. Like, some movies do need to be standalone. Some of the greatest movies of all times are standalones. I could name them right now: Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street, et cetera, et cetera. Those movies are fine as they are. Like, doubling down and being like, we're making a sequel now. From the get-go, I was like, oh, we'll see. You know, like, I don't know. Number one, I'm absolutely fucking shocked that Joaquin even agreed because that dude does not
Very
do
true.
franchises. He does one and he's out. Like, he's like the king of the one-off movies.
You know the main two actors that always do that? I don't know. Do you know number two?
What, Leo?
He's probably on there, but the one that I always heard about is Denzel. And he's coming back. The first time in his career, he did the sequel to Equalizer, and he's doing a number 3. And I'm like,
well, he probably saw John Wick making a shit ton of money, and he was like, fuck that, I'm making my dough.
Why I'm interested in the third one, if anybody listening has seen the remakes of Equalizer, 1, it's a good remake, but 2, it's Denzel Washington, so it's a great fucking remake. Yeah. So both of them were good. In the third one that they're making right now, it's gonna pair him and Dakota Fanning back up.
Oh, Man on Fire reunion.
Man on Fire.
I have to watch that. I only saw the first one. I didn't see the sequel.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I'm for it.
That fucking movie.
Denzel Washington is a big actor that always would say, like, if the script was good enough, he would do it. But in his career, he rarely would do sequels. So hopping back onto Joaquin, it's either that's what still not so much worries me, but also is like how much of this is actual truth and how much of the film is this or that. How much is actually written right now is the biggest thing, like set in stone. You know what I mean?
Like, what's the overall? Yeah, what are they really? I mean, even with, because they've always wanted Lady Gaga. That's not a fucking shocker. Yeah. Well, because Hollywood's obsession right now is like to make her the biggest star they possibly can. They've been fucking trying.
They've tried.
Yeah, I mean, they want to get her
when she's not wearing fucking suits of meat, I don't really give a shit. I don't care even then. But
remember like 2 years ago, maybe last year, with House of Gucci came out, how fucking strong they promoted that movie to be like, she's an Oscar like nomination, and she wasn't, because the movie was dog shit. Because any movie that features Jared Leto usually fucking is. So
let her go be fucking Jared's
Harley. Take Margot and put her in for put her in Joaquin's Joker.
Take Margot and keep her away from Jared Leto and anything that he ever touches. But give him Lady Gaga. Like,
I will say, I don't know. I'm conflicted about it, because there is a part of me that's like, I don't think this is gonna work, but I also am. I will give them credit, because this could be a complete fucking failure. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can completely ruin this character. This could be a dog shit movie, and it would definitely hamper the first one, because The Hamper is just a great standalone movie. If it works. If this somehow works, they pull this shit off, holy fuck, Todd Phillips deserves all the credit in the world. Because I'm like, it doesn't sound like it will. No. Like, it doesn't sound like it possibly will. But when you're telling me Joaquin Phoenix is going to be in a musical, I tend to be like, I'm still going to watch it.
I mean, I'm curious, obviously. Yeah. I was curious to watch the first one, and I enjoyed it, And like you said, my biggest thing, why I enjoyed it and I think respected it, was that, like you said, it was a standalone movie. They did their own thing. They changed so much, but it worked for this film. My opinion, going forward, it does not need a sequel. You do not need to see that character probably ever again. If they ever wanted to have a subtle random fucking mention or cameo, maybe fine. But even that's a stretch, because it was its own story, and I thought it worked great.
Yeah, as a one-off.
So that's why moving forward, saying there's a sequel of itself, I was worried. And then what we know about it, allegedly, as of now,
it's out of left field. Again, we'll see what happens. I'm curious, as I was with the first one. The first one, I was all in. This one, there is definitely a little bit of fear, a little bit of like, oh man, this could be just really, really bad. This could just be one of the worst things he's ever made outside of the Hangover movies. So it's like, we'll see, man. If they pull it off, damn. I mean, if they don't, then I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. But if they do pull it off, then Give Joaquin all the goddamn Oscars. I don't give a rat's ass. If he could pull this shit off, then Joaquin is just God at this point. And I wouldn't put it past him. When that dude grows out his beard and his hair, it's like he does look like Jesus a little bit.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is pretty much. But man, I don't know. We'll see. Comic book wise, I will say this, and I don't know if you feel the same way. There is definitely, for me at least, on my side, a lack of interest right now, moving forward.
Yeah, no. I could agree to like a big, like side to that, because none of the Marvel stuff coming out soon is anything that I think either of us are super interested in. The shows that they're announcing right now, I'm like, whatever.
And there's not really a gap in between them. It feels like almost every month we're getting
there's something.
Yeah, and maybe not Marvel, but just something,
Yeah.
Where it's just consistently just like month after month after month after month. Either it's a series release or it's a movie release. And then I'm at that point now where I guess it is called superhero fatigue, where I'm just, I'm like, I don't want to watch this. Yeah, I don't want to have to watch this to then understand this and then understand that. Like it feels almost like a chore now to have to do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm at that point where a movie, fine. A series that comes out weekly, like I'm still scarred up about Obi-Wan, even though the finish was pretty great. But Obi-Wan was still one of those where the whole time I'm just sitting there being like, give me something that you promised me, motherfuckers. And they just never did. With Marvel, it just feels like it's this constant storyline. But back then, there was a gap. So you would have that feeling of like, oh, man, we got to wait a year for the next one to come out. But damn, that in between that, you're hyping yourself up, making your own theories. Now it's like, this month, Miss Marvel. Next month, She-Hulk. The following one, Wakanda Forever. Then this. And it's not even just Marvel. Like, I'm not, and it sucks to say this, and I think it's just for everything. I'm not excited really all that much for Black Adam. I saw the trailer. I was like, it is what it is. It's Dwayne, so cool.
It's The Rock
but it looks like a basic Dwayne movie. I'm not as hyped for Shazam Fury of Gods as I wish I was, but I'm also like, Aquaman was supposed to come out that month, and now that got pushed forward. Aquaman, same time, because I'm like, who the fuck knows who Mera's gonna be, and also, I haven't seen much. I haven't seen much of
it. The character,
and then the grand enchilada is The Flash, which everything is built around that, and when they
can't wait to see The Flash turn into a biopic, and it's just the story of
the rise and fall of Ezra. The rise and fall of Barry Allen. They released a trailer yesterday for a horror movie called They Them. Deadass thought it was a documentary for Ezra Miller.
Okay, so I didn't see the trailer. Yeah, but I heard about it. Is that the one that Ethan Hawke is in?
Yeah, he's in that one.
That guy's going big right now.
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe that's the one that he shouldn't do. Did you see the trailer?
Fuck no. I just saw the title and I'm like, I'll check this out later.
I have no idea what it's about. I'm just like,
it's about a serial killer, like slasher type thing. But I'm pretty sure like I said, I made the joke being like, I was talking to my girl last night because she was like, what is this? And it was
I'm like,
the title is They/Them, and I'm like, Ezra's biopic. I don't fucking know what is it. And I saw Ethan Hawke, and I'm like, this dude's just like, he already made a horror movie. I heard that movie was good. What was it called? Black Phone or
Black Phone? Yeah, I didn't see that yet.
I heard that one was pretty decent. This is where we're transitioning to the horror. I heard it was good. I haven't seen it yet. I'll probably watch it tonight, actually, because I think it's on demand already. But then this one, I don't know. I don't understand what the concept is. I'm assuming based on the title. But
I was gonna say though, like, I guess there's two quick like maybes. Is the killer, like non-gender, or is the killer killing just men and women and I'm trying my hardest, guys, too. Like, anybody listen to this later on, I'm not poking fun at anything other than the film itself.
It's a concept
I'm like making fun of.
Okay, They Them is an upcoming American slasher film, obviously produced by Blumhouse because they're the ones that do everything. It stars. We were wrong. It's not Ethan Hawke.
Oh, it's not?
Kevin Bacon. It's Mr. Footloose himself.
Isn't that funny though? Like, you kind of
they look the same. They're the basic white guy, guy at this point.
I don't think I put that together until fucking 29 years of age.
Okay, so whoever corrected us, because before this point, we got the white men confused. We apologize.
We did. We're sorry.
It's gonna premiere on Peacock July 29th, so it comes out like in a few weeks.
Okay.
This is the synopsis.
I was gonna say, what's the synopsis? Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I'm ready.
After arriving at a gay conversion camp, a group of LGBTQ teens must fend themselves from a mysterious killer. So the they them is Friday the 13th, but woke.
So, yeah, I mean, all right. So I was right about one of the two possibilities. It's either going to be a twist where the killer is revealed.
It's Ezra Miller.
Like, no, we should have assumed when he was just ladies for no reason. Like,
this whole psychotic episode was just promotion for the film. It's like, I've just been promoting this,
like, bro,
more than anybody else in this film has.
Like, you know what, dude? I hate method acting, but give that kid the fucking
if he's method acting right now, give him the Oscar. I don't even care if this movie's bad. Just give it to him.
I think they nailed it.
Emphasis on that.
God.
But it does look.
What to say about that fucking synopsis?
It's funny because like the trailer, I don't know, you can't really see because it's gonna look like shit on Zoom. It looks like Ethan Hawke, man. Like
I swear to God, I saw Ethan Hawke on that. I think is that like the Mandela effect or something like that?
You just confuse Ethan Hawke. It's been Kevin Bacon this whole time, Black Phone and all those movies. We're just giving credit to him. It's always just been Kevin Bacon.
It was Kevin Bacon in Moon Knight.
And he runs the camp, Kevin Bacon was in the original Friday, right? I mean, the original Friday the 13th. So that's okay. I kind of respect that.
And they're not allowed to dance at this camp, so that's why he's more upset. He's like, "Fuck this place, man! Someone's got to kill somebody." Like,
I do dig that little, not Easter egg, but little homage of being like, he's running a camp. Because I guess it says here Kevin Bacon runs a killer gay conversion camp in New Trailer. The Hollywood Reporter just didn't give a fuck. They're like,
they just fucking went for it.
He runs a killer gay conversion camp, and then there's a slasher out there. It's like,
I'm like, is it better? Is it better to be called a killer gay camp or a gay killer camp? Because then it sounds like the killer is gay.
Killer gays.
There's nothing wrong with okay. See, yeah, if the killer's gay and they're just killing anybody, then right on. If they're only targeting gay people, that's wrong.
They them is just
listen to us, guys. That is wrong. Like
the killers are just like the judges from the Supreme Court. They just dressed them up like slashers.
This is a weird mix of like the Purge with like reality and.
Wait, who was in the Purge? Was it Ethan or was it Kevin Bacon? Shit! Now that I'm thinking.
Now I don't know. Now it was Ethan Hawke. I swear to God it was.
I gotta check it.
If you tell me differently, I will think that someone is literally changing like the Wikipedia pages on us at this moment.
It is Ethan Hawke. Okay,
the first one. He never.
The very first Purge movie, the only actually watchable one.
Did he die in that one?
Yeah, he dies at the end.
I'm like, spoiler, guys. That fucking first one's been out for at least 10 years now.
Yeah, the freaking remember the neighbors like help the killers get in and like.
Oh yeah.
And then it ends with like the wife and the kids on the table with the neighbors being like, nobody's gonna kill anymore for like the next 10 minutes or some shit like that.
So then why now I'm just, who gives a shit? It's the Purge. But like, when did the dude that played Crossbones come into the mix?
Second one?
He was in the sequel, and then didn't he come back though?
He came back a few times. I think he came back for at least maybe, I want to say 2, but maybe 3.
I couldn't tell you if I saw the first one when it came out, and then I think I saw the one that was called The First Purge. Like, I want to say I remember seeing that one, and that one was enough for me after that.
They're giving him on Google, they give him credit for the first one. I don't remember him being in the first one.
Oh, the dude that played Crossbones?
Yeah, I don't remember him being the first one, but he was in the Purge Anarchy and the Purge the election year.
Yeah,
I don't remember him being. I don't. But the movie just dog shit, anyways. I mean,
exactly.
The last one, they were like, let's be racist without being racist and go chase
Mexicans. I didn't finish it. I started it. I might have gotten past like the opening credits, and then I was just like, this is like I could just probably like turn on the news probably and be like,
it's like
their setting.
It's like the first movie where I've ever seen Mexicans running back to Mexico and not get to here. It's like my people are running back. Like that doesn't make sense. They'd rather die before going back there, man. They would be like just kill me, dude.
Someone needs to call Kevin Bacon to help us in the Purge, because.
But talking about horror movies, that brings us to the title probably of this podcast.
I think so, and I think this is a good way to end it. We're gonna put a good amount of time on this.
Yeah, this will be the grand finale, which was supposed to start the podcast, but then when we ramble on, you get the gist of it.
And it makes sense for this. It's supposed to be it's our grand finale for this episode, and it's supposed to be the grand finale of what was supposed to be the grand finale of a great new trilogy. And if anybody and everybody that saw the last one, most of you did not fucking say good things about it. It was almost like the new Texas Chainsaw. I tried.
You know what? But the new Texas Chainsaw had literally no hype, so I'd give them credit.
That's true. They were just like, here it
is. There was no expectations for that new Texas Chainsaw on Netflix. Like nobody really cared. Very quickly, though, talking about Netflix.
There's less expectations
for what?
There's less expectations for Texas Chainsaw than there should be for the Munsters.
There you go. I was about to fucking bring that up. I was about to bring that because very quickly, the Munsters, dude, the release for this fucking movie has gone to shit. I do not understand how Rob went from being like, this is like my passion project. This is the movie I've been dying to make this whole time. And now that has transitioned to it going straight to DVD first by Universal. And Universal not even putting it on Peacock, being like, yeah, Netflix can have it, I guess. Yeah. And that's it. That's the gist of it. Like,
and him still trying to be like, it was always going to be made for Netflix. I'm like, no, it wasn't.
It wasn't, Rob. You said this was your passion project. You put your money into it, which now I'm concerned that if you're bankrupt or not, because good God, man, this movie looks like shit. You could have told me that this was a porn parody and I would have believed it.
And you would have been like, yeah.
Yeah,
all it looks like, okay. And I've said this, and music lovers and movie fans as well chime in too after. All it looks like to me is one long Rob Zombie music video, which if anybody has sat through a 3-minute Rob Zombie music video, you already know it's fucking 2.5 minutes too long. It's just too many colors, too many fucking sounds, people bobbing their head and shit for no reason. Like, it's just
lights flickering.
Yeah, it's just not good. And I think the easiest way to, like, again, for music fans, it would be like someone growing up their entire childhood, get to be an adult, and they loved the band Kiss, everything about it. And they're like, I'm going to be like the next Kiss. And then they just fucking ruined like they dragged their name down with them. That's what Rob Zombie is doing with the Munsters name. He is literally dragging down. And here's a deep cut for people if they really want to get a laugh. Do you remember when the Munsters, or they tried remaking the Munsters like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
They got one pilot.
On Fox, right?
One fucking pilot. I think so.
Yeah.
And the pilot did so bad. Nothing ever again. I watched the pilot. It was not nearly as bad as I think Rob Zombie's trailer. Not even the fucking movie yet. I would gladly take Jerry O'Connell as fucking Herman.
Then whatever.
That's right. The fat kid from Stand By Me. I would rather have him come back as Herman Munster than Rob Zombie's friends. Because I'm just like, I'm tired of it, dude. I'm over it.
It's like, man, the teaser trailer, the black and white one, I'm like, okay, that has potential. Yeah. If you're going that route, that's very on the base of what the Munsters are.
It just looked like a remake shot.
And that was fine. Like, fine. That's what you want to do. If you want to introduce a new generation to the Munsters, cool, whatever, fuck it. The trailer drops, man. I'm watching, and the whole time I'm like, okay, so when did they flip the switch and give us the actual movie? Like, this is all shtick, right? Because it looks like an SNL skit. I'm not even fucking kidding you. It looks like an SNL skit on the soundstage that they couldn't really afford, with lighting that just so obnoxious and just so fucking badly directed and written. You could just hear the dialogue and you're like, who is this for? What is the audience that this is for? And people are like, oh, it's for kids.
The only thing that I stand by, and I've seen other people, the only saving grace to the entire trailer and maybe film is the actor playing Grandpa.
Yeah.
I think he nails like a good impression.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the only thing.
It's fucking over.
And I'm pretty sure it will be the only thing that people are like, I guess that was the best part. But again, if you want to see it, because it was going to have a theatrical release, don't fucking bullshit me and say it wasn't. That was the plan, dude. That was the goddamn plan. They watched the trailer and they saw the reaction. They're like, you know what, bro? We're going to release this on DVD Blu-ray in September. And then in October, we're just going to drop it on Netflix. And then
they got the notice from Target that Target's getting rid of all the DVDs and Blu-rays. So they're like, never mind.
Who the fuck? Yeah, I mean, nowadays, who buys those things now, right? I mean, I want to, but at the same time, it's like, if it's on TV, am I going to spend $20, $30? But that's a good transition from Rob Zombie, because we do know he had his own little flick at the Halloween.
Rob Zombie had some good films at one time, guys.
Yeah.
Don't let us confuse you, but he fucking squandered it, just like the newest sequel of the Halloween trilogy.
Yeah.
The Halloween trilogy that was so, at least their words, true to the original Halloween, and none of the other ones, none of the sequels, nothing. This was a direct sequel. And the first one they made, I really dug.
Yeah, really good. The 2018 movie is fine. I have no problems with it. The scene where he gets his mask back and just F's up the two podcast hosts in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I liked about Rob Zombie's Halloween, is the brutality, just the gore and the blood. Like, that was perfect to me for Michael to come back. I was like, they did everything right. It made sense at that time for like podcasters to do an investigation, wanting to interview Lori, wanting to interview Michael. Lori going through her PTSD even more excessively as she did. I forgot which movie it was. It was the one with LL Cool J, when she's like the teacher in the school.
Oh, like H2O or some shit.
Yeah, they flirted with the idea of her dealing with it, but she's not really dealing with it as badly as she does in 2018, where she has like guns and the whole range and all that. That makes sense to me. It's very Sarah Connor-ish what they did to her, and it worked. So 2018, I have no problem with. If that's a sequel from the 78 Carpenter one, love letter to that movie, because it was just perfect to me. It worked. It got me excited. And then the next one came out, and I understand COVID pushed it and it was done for a few years because of the pandemic and all that. I was hyped for it, man. I really was. I was excited to see what they did. But then that movie starts. I remember we went to like Target, bought like a shit ton of candy, alcohol, this crap, because we watched it on Peacock. I didn't go watch it in the movie theater. Sit down, we watch it, and holy shit, man, for the first time ever, I'm like, you know what? Haddonfield is stupid as fuck. I don't blame Michael.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, Michael doesn't even care about any of you. He has one goal: kill his sister. That's it. Because the other sister couldn't take him out to go trick-or-treating because she wanted to get laid.
But they changed that, remember?
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I forgot.
That's the weirdest thing that they changed, but tried being like, but it's to the original. I'm like, but was it?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? My biggest thing, I don't know if you remember watching what the fuck was it called now? Was it Halloween? The sequel to the
Halloween Kills?
Halloween Kills, thank you. It was a Halloween movie with Michael Myers thinking that he was Jason. Every kill that Michael Myers did in that sequel was a Friday the 13th kill. Because again, going back to the classics like of Halloween, he wasn't over the top murderer.
No.
They rarely showed it.
He's very sneaky.
The Carpenter. Yeah, it was the shape, you know what I mean? Yep. You didn't know where he was.
He came from the shadows. That's the whole point of him.
Yeah, so they kind of just threw that out the door immediately. Oh, yeah. The only thing that I did enjoy about it, really, that still stands up, is the flashback scenes.
Yeah.
I thought they did that really well by making him look old school and everything. That was cool. But to stand by what you just said, holy shit, next to Gotham City, I think Haddonfield is probably like the worst fucking place to live.
Easily.
Because like you said, it's it's a very dumbed down idea of this guy has revenge against this girl who's not his sister anymore. Probably would have been a lot easier to just keep that. But this guy has revenge on this girl. He's only trying to come after her. Why does anybody else need to get involved?
Yeah.
Like,
or
I get
also,
it.
like the one scene that completely turned me off from this film, Halloween Kills, was the scene where they chased that poor chubby little fucking psychotic guy
my gosh.
through the hospital. Like, number one, Tommy Doyle was an idiot in this movie.
No.
I've never.
It's what you get. It's what you get for getting the kid from the Breakfast Club.
They should have brought back Paul Rudd. They should have just brought him back. But it's just like he's a moron in that they chased this guy. First of all, Michael Myers is like 7 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen his face, at least the people in the town.
Yeah.
How would you assume that this little chubby guy is Michael Myers? And why would he be at the hospital hiding? He's running through the hospital. He jumps out the window, kills himself. And they're still like, we got him. And the old sheriff from the original, which I did think that was pretty cool that they brought him back.
That was like,
how do we know it's Michael? And it's like, and in my head, I'm like, no shit, it's not Michael.
Like spot for blood. Like, well, his brains are out.
And he was already out. So they already know he's back in his suit and the mask. Like, so he's just back in his just hospital gown running around.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole city of Haddonfield is just morons. Like, they're just, it reminded me, and I hate to make this joke because I hate bringing up politics, but it's like, oh, this is January 6th for them. They're just chasing everybody. No. They don't give a fuck. And it's like, oh, they're fighting back against Michael. I'm like, yeah, but they're not doing it in the way that makes you be like, they deserve this. No, if anything, I'm like, Michael, do your thing. Go through them. And even at the end,
he did.
Yeah, he did. Because even at the end, when they all try to jump
so unbelievable, but you're like, it's a fucking movie about a fake killer that has been shot and stabbed for years. So,
and you know what? That's what I used to love. That's why I loved Michael so much, is the fact that it could be anybody. You know what I mean? Where like Jason's disfigured and has his own like supernatural powers. Freddy has his. They all kind of do. Like even Leatherface has his like shit going on as well. But Michael Myers could be anybody, you know. It's just, you put the mask on, you do your thing, which is, I shouldn't have said that because that they probably got that idea for what I'll talk about in a bit.
They heard you, man.
They heard me mumble this a few times and they're like, aha, he's got an idea. Let's take that. I'll tell you guys in a bit. But the fact that movie it kind of just completely missed the point of what Michael Myers is all about. He has one goal, kind of like the Terminator, bringing back the Connors. He just wants to kill Laurie. That's it. That's the only thing he wants to do. Having this whole war where, like you said, very Jason-esque, when he's just going through everybody. It's like the whole
the saw, like the jaws of life or whatever the fuck.
It was a bunch of even when he was like stalking that car, that when those people were like hunting him down.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna hunt Michael Myers down. And he's like on the roof of the car. And I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm like,
when he just go through like
the whole film, dude. It's like now it's Haddonfield versus Myers, and I didn't understand that concept. I thought it was a reach. I thought at the time it just didn't make sense because at the end of the day, he was never like that. That the whole reason why I liked him, we brought back the shape when the first movie, he kills the girl in the car first by just going behind her and choking her out. The second guy he stabs and like just shoves him into the wall. Don't hear anything. Very clean, very quiet. Puts on the fucking the ghost thing, goes behind the other girl, kills her. He's very quiet. And even when Laurie is running away from him and she's knocking on doors, people are turning off their lights, ignoring her. The Haddonfield never really cared. So for this movie to all of a sudden being like, we gotta kill Michael, he's Frankenstein. No, not really, man. He's a serial killer. So I don't understand what they did with this. So anyways, the trailer has dropped for Halloween ends. Yeah. And it's funny that it starts with kids trick-or-treating because I'm like, you fuckers still don't get the goddamn message to send your kids home on goddamn Halloween night. You just spent the last movie going to war against this dude, but now you're like, kids, go have fun. It's just Halloween night in Haddonfield.
Like, we hurt him. He's not going to do it again.
Tommy hit him 3 times with the bat. He's done. He has CTE now. He has a concussion. You get the showdown between Laurie and Michael, which I tweeted about this. This movie should be 2 hours of just Michael versus Laurie. I don't care about anybody else. I don't care about the granddaughter. I don't care about the new sheriff that she's romantically involved with now all of a sudden. I don't care about the teenagers in Haddonfield because they have nothing to do with the overall story where it's Michael versus Laurie Strode. That's it. 2 hours of that. I'm happy with that if that's what it was. So people I trust were very like tweeting like weird shit about check the hands, blah, blah, blah. So I checked in with somebody that goes to like a lot of these like test screenings that consistently. And he's gone to 2 of them for this movie. Okay. Spoilers, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want to know any spoilers about Halloween Ends,
turn it off now.
Yeah, I mean, if you do, stick around because now I'm going to get into some legitimate spoilers. This is not a rumor.
And we'll let you guys know like where the cutoff is.
Yeah, like, yeah. Before, we'll let you know. Yeah, I'm not going to stick that long on it.
We'll be kind of nice about it.
Yeah,
maybe not.
Maybe, yeah. Well, it doesn't deserve. Well, anyways, okay. I'm like in my head, I go to like a different place.
I know.
Somebody said focus on that. Like, look at the hands in the trailer for Michael Myers. So I went back and watched the trailer a few times, and I'm like,
so again, not to cut you off, but interrupting for our listeners and viewers. Look at Michael's hand. Correct.
Yeah, Michael's hand in the trailer when he's opening the door to Laurie Strode with the gun. You should get a clear shot of his hand opening the door. Now, if you remember in the 2018 movie, Laurie shoots his 3 fingers off with the shotgun. When he tries to grab the gun from her, she just fires it. In the trailer, that same hand, perfectly fine. Fingers attached. So no blood on him, no dirt on him.
She shot it in the 18 or in
18.
So in the sequel, was he still missing fingers?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I need to watch that. I don't know if I want to.
Because in the sequel, you can't really see it.
I don't remember that as much.
They don't really show it, but there's like little glimpses. Because remember, he's all burnt up.
Yeah. So I remember that.
And even in the trailer, all of a sudden, clean mask, clean jumpsuit. Fucking where? You're telling me you got a chance to go take a shower, get a new suit, and get a new mask stitched up? I highly doubt that. But whatever. Fine.
Yeah.
So I watched that, went back to my buddy that knows about this shit. He tells me, and this is where the spoiler kicks in, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're still in, skip ahead. The plan is this. There will be, I don't know if it's multiple or for sure, there is going to be a Michael Myers copycat in this movie. There will be somebody that is in honor of Michael Myers is now trying to kill Laurie Strode for him. In the trailer, the Michael Myers you see fighting Laurie Strode is not actually Michael Myers.
Do you think they go the extra dumb fucking route and make it his kid?
No, it's just a random. Okay. It's just a random teen.
I would love for that though, just to then be like, who did Michael fuck?
It's also been like in between. Michael just let the dick run out. You're just like, here we go.
When, where, why, how, and everything in between.
And how was it? And how did it go? And did he kill her after she had the baby?
Did he fucking orgasm? Like, well, I guess clearly he did. But like, what was it like? What was his like? That's the movie we need to see.
Well, I mean, they did it with, they kind of teased it with the whole Paul Rudd movie with the niece.
Yeah, a little bit.
They kind of just mentioned it being that the baby was his kid, which was like, that's a choice with your fucking weird hole and your weird ass tattoo on the wrist. That if you just press it, Michael's like, I'm fucking hypnotized. Anyway, all the Halloween movies have been shit, but the fucking first and the second one, man, and 18 one, and Rob Zombie's first one. So the Myers you see in the trailer, allegedly, most likely, because his hand is fine, his mask is clean, the suit is clean, is a copycat. They're introducing a copycat killer.
So they just watched Scream. And they watched which Friday?
New Beginning.
Yeah. Which is a great movie. One of my favorite Friday 13th. But it's not Jason.
No, at the end.
The entire film, it's not Jason.
That little spin at the end is very infuriating. So they're doing that again. So where my mind went to first is like, oh, granddaughter's still alive. Does Michael die or does the copycat die? Maybe both died. I don't know. I didn't want to get that into it. I just wanted to know about that. So maybe they both die, or maybe Michael There's a scene in the trailer where he grabs the kid in the sewers. I will tell you that if you go back and watch the trailer. The one who's playing the copycat, there's a scene where he's, for some reason, very like he's in the sewers walking and Michael grabs him by the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because Michael's just so fucking injured that this kid's just like, I'm going to go kill Lori for you? I don't know. But very much like fucking Star Wars and Jurassic, where they claim it's the finale of the saga. You're going to leave that little fucking door open. And I would not be shocked if the copycat dies. Lori probably dies too, I would assume, because she seems like she's done, and I don't blame her.
Yeah.
And we end up finding out that the Michael Myers is still alive, and now he's just going after the granddaughter. And there's your new sequel. There's your new trilogy or sequel, whatever the fuck they're going to call it, from Blumhouse.
Yeah.
And that is infuriating because I feel like you have done everything you could possibly do with Michael Myers. There's nothing left for that character to do. You made this mistake in the 80s and 90s when Carpenter sold the rights. They couldn't just fucking let the dude go. They just kept pumping out this movie up until the point where Busta Rhymes was doing karate on his ass and super kicking him through a fucking wall of fire.
That's always the worst too. I'm like, I'm sorry, Busta, but holy shit, man. Like,
so first and foremost, what's your thoughts on that? Because
I think that's fucking dog shit. Once again, it just goes back to making the newest Texas Chainsaw not look as bad as everybody said it was, which I don't think it was. I think it's a really now you got nothing to look forward to, bro. Just turn that shit on. I think it's a really dumb idea, on a number of reasons and levels. I think it's lazy. I think, like you said, the whole idea now of any big franchise or film, whatever, of building it up to be like, this is the last one, this is it, just to, like you said, leave the door open, leave the possibility. Not everything needs that cliffhanger. Not everything needs maybe next time. Like, no, just and I'm not even saying they have to completely be like, okay, he's dead, she's dead, boom, the end. But you don't need to leave it up to still being like, oh, maybe, like, it's. And I don't know, maybe now I'm getting old, but it's I don't want to see the characters that we've loved for so many years now be wasted. More so than, like you said, more so than a lot of them were wasted in, the 90s and 2000s and shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know it's so fucking hard for, the world to do anything original.
Oh, yeah, those days are over.
It's coming back to that point where it's like, it's very, very evidently, like, clear that you need to do something original, because even your ideas of continuation are awful.
And nobody's really like going out of their way to watch these franchises anymore. They're starting to get the gist of it, where it's like, you're not adding anything to the legacy of it. You're fucking ruining it. You're making it worse. Because
that's the biggest thing with people still petitioning and talking about wanting like a new Nightmare and having Robert Englund come back. I'm like, what else do you really want Freddy to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What else?
You already tried rebooting it with the new cast of characters, and it was dog shit. And you did it with Friday too, and it was bad. So
I was gonna say,
you can't just keep recycling the same ideas over. Like, they're trying to do it again with Jeepers Creepers, which I'm like, I'm fine with that, only because fuck the director of the original. He's a fucking piece of shit. So I'm fine with that. But also, I'm like, you guys make new characters, man.
Did he make the third one?
I'm not sure. Director? I know for sure he made the first two.
He made the first two. Yeah. I never saw the third one.
Me neither.
And now this is like an Origins one or something.
I don't know, because it takes place like at a horror festival.
Oh, so maybe it's not then.
And then they win tickets to an escape like horror house, and I guess that's where he starts killing them off.
I mean,
I've never really cared about him to begin with.
No, I was gonna say I was never much of a fan or the films and everything like that, but collectively, fuck the director.
Oh yeah, easily. I'm glad that like he sold the rights, so he would not see a dime from it. So that's good. Because I'm like, well, I'll support that. I'll watch it maybe eventually. I think it's going straight to streaming too. But back to Halloween, if they wanted to add the copycat, that's fine, but do that. end it with them dying, and I could see somebody being like, oh, well, I want to be the next fucking slasher of Haddonfield. And that could be your next, franchise. It doesn't have to be exactly Michael Myers. Maybe he takes the look and it can still take place in Haddonfield. It doesn't have to be exactly Michael Myers or have the mask of Michael Myers. And if the granddaughter's still alive, you could do the whole Sidney Prescott thing where it's
I was about to say, I didn't watch the Scream show, but they changed the mask.
Yeah.
Like the design was completely different.
It's like a Jabberwocky mask.
Yeah, like it didn't look good, but I get what they were going for. Just do that with this too. I think they don't need to, because I don't think we would need to see, oh, this is Halloween, but you go into it knowing that it's not Michael Myers, or he's gonna be trying to just call himself Michael. Like,
well, they're so stupid too, because it's like Halloween could mean anything.
Yeah, true.
Shit could just happen in Haddonfield every Halloween. And it doesn't have to exactly like the Michael's story is with Laurie. That's it. That's the story.
Exactly.
I
get it.
That's the fucking finale, whatever it's going to be. That's it. Yeah. Everything outside of that does not have to always be surrounded by them. If they die, they die. And if you want somebody to be like, and like we said with Joker, they see that and they're like, I'm psychotic, whatever. You saw that on TV. I could do that. Then you can carry on the legacy, not just of Michael Myers, but of Halloween Night and Haddonfield. That would have been a better fucking premise than being like, well, Michael's not going to kill her, the copycat is. Because I'm like, that's just a cheap, lazy way of being like, we'll leave that little inch door open of, is it Michael? Maybe it's not Michael. And you've done that already. 1,000 fucking. You did that with H2O when she fucking runs the car into him. His fucking head comes off. You're like, oh, she killed Michael. They take the mask off. It's a security guard. You're just like, all right, whatever, man. I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating. And maybe Rob Zombie will be vindicated finally, because now it sounds like his goddamn duo of movies isn't going to be the worst fucking.
No, I mean, yeah. I won't give him that much praise yet, because
the Munsters will
in the same, I was saying the same year that we might be like, hey, his sequel wasn't that bad. I'm also going to be like, but that one's fucking worse than all of them. Like,
so essentially, like what I'm trying to say too is horror movies right now are just hit or miss. Like Black Phone, I heard good things about it. What was that one? Like not one. They were making like that adult film. X.
Oh, X was a great film.
That's what I'm saying. Those are like two Black Phone X. Those are original ideas. I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to watch this weekend. I'm pretty sure Jordan Peele's Nope is going to be fucking insane too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm like, those movies, they're just original ideas. And there's people tend to like those more than these fucking remakes that you keep pointing out. Resident Evil. So it just maybe just let those things go. Start coming up with some fucking ideas. It's not that hard, man. Like if you're going to be in this industry, stop just being like, let's recycle this, recycle that. I don't want to see Robert Englund back as Freddy. I really don't, because I don't think there's anything for him to do.
No.
It was cool to see him in Stranger Things.
And the character.
Yeah, I want to see him. Cool. I want to see him in things that aren't Nightmare on Elm. I want to see him working. I don't want to see him be Freddy every goddamn time. Just like I don't want to see Bruce Campbell have to be Ash all the time. We might have lost Rossi. I don't know if we are still recording. Rossi has frozen. Let me see. See what happens. The fucking studios in Hollywood heard us talk shit. Now they're like, we're gonna freeze this entire thing. Halloween Kills is gonna suck, and Halloween Ends is probably gonna suck too.
Probably.
Will I watch it? Yes. Will I watch it in theaters? Absolutely. Will it disappoint me? Most likely. It most likely will.
You'll actually see it in theaters.
I will give it that much respect to the franchise.
I don't know if I will.
Well, that's the thing, is if it's on Peacock again, I will change my mind on possible. But
if it goes to any streaming site, would you change your mind?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Because I hate going to the theaters now. That's the only issue.
No, that's my thing. Yeah. And it really has to be like a big movie that like can't fail, that I'll go see in theaters. You know what I mean?
Well, even Thor, I was like,
yeah, that's very true.
I'll watch it on my laptop and just get the gist of it. I'm going for Nope only because I don't miss Jordan Peele movies. That's always been like the one I go for him. But For Halloween, as of now, because they haven't said anything about how they're going to release it. The last one was on Peacock. If it's on Peacock again, I probably will watch it at home. I had fun watching it at home, even though it was a dog shit movie, but it was still more enjoyable than having to deal with the outside world to watch a film, especially nowadays. That don't exactly feel as safe as I would want to at a movie theater, which is insane to say, but
I know.
I will go as of right now. Yeah, I am going to go watch it opening night just because if this is this end, I want to be disappointed in the theater.
That's very fair.
Yeah, I want to be the guy that's I want to be there sitting there in the dark ass theater, realizing that the reports were real and the spoilers were real, because I want to soak it in. That's what
that might. Yeah. I mean, our viewers and listeners already know well enough about us and each other. That might be a fun movie to definitely not be sober for. No. And I'm like, now thinking about that, I'm like, maybe we will take a trip to the theater for that one. But yeah, in no anticipation for it, no excitement really. Just like you said, to kind of just be like, oh well, I'm here. Let's see how this fucking thing is.
This is like, if you're gonna screw me over, at least take my $30.
Yeah, at least wine and dine me before you royally fuck me in front of.
That's the best way to end this episode. That's the best way to end. I don't even know what number this is, but we're back. Hopefully, we will try to do very more soon in the near future. Again, we have been busy. You guys will get more information. If there is stuff to talk about, I'm pretty sure we will slap this back on and talk like we have today. Movies suck right now. I'm pretty sure in the near future we will have some things to say about wrestling. I don't think there's anything much to say right now about professional wrestling. It's there. It's just there like everything else. Yeah, everything. I don't know. We're probably fucking getting to 30 sucks. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in the next episode of the Hollywood Uncensored Podcast. It's your boy Hollywood Holguin, joined once again by my good brother Rossi Montgomery. Follow Rockywood Co. Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. You guys will get more information about that in the very near future. You guys have a great night. And if I ruined Halloween ends for you, I do apologize. But, we all got to suffer together. Blame Rob Zombie. Always blame Rob Zombie. And Jared
Blame Rob. That's true.